Today's tutorial video is going to be short and snappy, trust me. Now, this is going to be a continuation video of our part 64 video. Now, in case you missed our part 64 video, we talked about chart patterns. In terms of trading the forex market using price action or analyzing the chart without any indicators, we talked about three main layers, and the chart pattern is the third layer, okay? We first began with knowing the nature of the market, which has to do with impulse and corrections. And then we went further to talk about the structure of the market. And in the part 64, we talked about the third layer, which has to do with the chart patterns. There are some patterns that you will find on the chart. And when you see those patterns on the chart, they mean something, they say something, they interpret to mean something. And that is what we began in our part 64 video. Now, getting to the end of that part 64 video, I asked that the head and shoulder pattern that we talked about, what pattern was it? And the answer to that is simply a reversal pattern. It is to tell you when a trend is about to reverse to the opposite direction, okay? So in case you haven't watched the part 64 video, I want you to go to the description of this video. You'll find a link to the full playlist. You will see playlist. Click on that link. It will take you to the full playlist. Look for the part 64 video and watch. And then come back and continue with this video. If not, some things may not make sense. Is that okay? So that is that. Now, today we are continuing with the chart patterns, as I said earlier. So let's go straight to the notes and look at other patterns that when you are doing price action, when you are trading the naked chart, there are some patterns that you can see, apart from the head and shoulder pattern that I showed you in the past 64 video. So what are other patterns that you can find when you are trading price action or the naked chart? That is what we want to look at as a continuation. Now, remember, we talked about these patterns here, that they are going to be the patterns we're going to focus on. And if you remember, in our part 64 video, we grouped these patterns into two, the directional patterns and then the type. You remember? Good. So let's continue quickly. And in today's video, I want us to look at another pattern known as the double bottom. The double bottom. Now, the double bottom pattern has to the upside and then to the downside, but this one is to the downside. It means that when a trend is about to reverse upwards, then you can get a double bottom at times on the chart. And with this double bottom, we are saying that the trend is a sell, okay? We are in a downtrend, and then all of a sudden, we are beginning to see a reversal pattern known as double bottom formed. And with this, the write-up here shows the naming. You see 1, 2, 3. We have only three main parts. Now, what we're going to do is that we are looking at the critical edges, which is the 1 and 3. That area must be of equal. One length must not be kind of longer than the other. They must be of equal. Is that okay? So the 1 and 3 must be on equal level. That is the first thing you must take note of. Now, there's two that you are seeing here is the neck of the double bottom. This is the neck of it. So in case you are going to be looking at this, you should know that the trend is a downtrend, and then this double bottom pattern forms to signal a U-turn of the direction or a reversal of the direction. Now, what is going to happen is, before we talk about this, let me show you this also. We also have the double top, which looks like an M. So if you look at the double bottom, it looks like a W. Is that okay? This one looks like a W, and then this one looks like an M. So an M form here means that we have an uptrend, and then the trend is about to reverse. In that case, you will get this double top formation, which looks like an M. Okay, we'll be going to the chart and spot some of these things out. So let's first take note of the patterns, and then we can move forward to the chart. So the double top and the double bottom are kind of opposite each other. So the double top is opposite of the double bottom. So the double top means that the trend is an uptrend, and then you get a double top, which is to signal or tell you that the trend is about to change to the downside, as you can see here. Now, when you see a double top or a double bottom, what should you do? What should you expect? Now, trading double tops and double bottom is just as similar as the head and shoulder pattern. Very, very similar. So what do you do? Now, if it is double bottom, you would have to consider the neck, which is the 2. And in considering the 2 here, what it means is that the neck must be broken, which is the red area here. So this neck must be broken. Once the neck is broken to the upside, you are waiting for that neck to be retested. Once the neck is retested, then you will wait to see the price action that will be formed here. So whatever is going to be the price action over here will tell you to go buy, just as we did in the head and shoulder pattern. So you will really have to see that, yes, this neck you are seeing here is really going to hold. By seeing, if you are going to be using candlesticks, you need to see some candlestick patterns printed. Or if you are going to be using the linear chart, you need to see similar patterns on the neck, giving you an indication that this neck here you are seeing is going to hold. Then, of course, you can look at your buy to the upside. If you watch the past 64, you will see similar prints or similar pattern where it breaks and comes back to retest. We even had a few examples on the chart, and you saw how simple it was. So you will need that price action on the neck here in order to decide to give it a buy. Is that okay? So that is how you are going to trade the double bottom. The same with the double top is true. So with the double top, which is also like this, what it means is that you are going to be waiting to see a break on the neck, which is on the 2, and then a retest of that neck. And then once the neck is retested, the prints you are going to see here is going to give you an idea to sell. Now, if you are not seeing what you're supposed to see here, you should not enter, because it is possible it can also break back and go up. So since you are not sure whether this neck is going to hold or not, you need to wait patiently till you see the prints or the kind of candles we talked about. Once you see them, you now know that, yes, it's time for you to go in with your sell to the downside. So if you want to see some of the prints I talked about in the part 64, when you watch the part 64 video, you understand what I'm talking about here. So that is how the double top and double bottom patterns are traded. Now, these are also reversal patterns. The double top and double bottom are also what? Reversal pattern. It means if it is double top, it means we are in an uptrend, and then the trend is about to reverse and go sell. So this pattern is a clear indication that the trend is about to reverse. If it is a double bottom, it's also a clear indication that the trend is about to reverse to the upside. Is that okay? So this is also a reversal pattern. Now, I want us to look at another reversal pattern, and then we can be done with these reversals. Now, this is also another reversal pattern called the triple bottom. This one, the bottom is not just 2, it's 3. So you see 3 different touches on the bottom, 1, 2, 3, and they are all on equal level. So you see the 1, 3, 5 are all on equal level. Now, the neck here is also 2. Now, sometimes the neck cannot be equal. It is possible the neck may slant a bit, but to the bottom, they must be equal. Take note of these points. The bottoms must be equal, but the neck can choose to slant. Maybe the 2 can be a bit longer than the 4, or the 4 can be a bit longer than the 2. So for the neck, you may get equal or not equal in terms of the neck. But when it comes to the bottom, the 3 bottoms must be on equal height. Is that okay? And this is triple bottom. That should tell you that we also have what we call the triple top. If you have a triple bottom like this, then it means we also have a triple top. And just like I said in the triple bottom, the neck can choose to slightly be longer than each other, but for the tops, they must be equal. They must be equal. And trading the double tops, sorry, the triple tops and triple bottoms is the same as how you trade the double bottoms. Okay. Before we go to this one, how to trade this is also the same, because you must wait for the neck to break, and then you wait and get a retest to the neck. You wait for the print, then you can enter your sell if you are going to be trading the triple bottom. There are other people who also want to take their trade on the third touch over here. Once they get the 1, 2, 3, once they see the third one, they enter their sell. Now, that is risky, but sometimes can give you more profit when it goes your way. The reason being that sometimes this 5 here can break and continue to the upside, and it can sometimes also hold and then come back to the downside. If you are going to be trading the triple top by taking your trade from the 5 over here, then you should expect to see the similar patterns we talked about in terms of the neck. Okay, once you see those patterns on the 5 here, then you can give it a sell. Okay, but if you want to be on the safer side, then you have to wait for this neck to be broken before you take your decision or you take your trade. Is that okay? So that is how you can trade this neck, the triple top or the triple bottom. Or is that okay? Now, let me quickly go on to the next one, which is also a reversal. This one is called a falling wedge, a falling wedge pattern. Now, when you watch this falling wedge pattern carefully, it has some key notes I want all of you to take note of, because one thing you realize is that we are in a downtrend, and then this trend begins to diminish. And these two lines, this one here and this one here, are kind of converging at a point. Do you get it? They are kind of converging at a point. So it's like some V kind of shape. The two are coming to converge at a point here. Is that okay? So that is how the falling wedge looks like. So you see how it's coming. Once you see a pattern like this, then what it should tell you is that the sellers are beginning to lose their strength in the market. The sellers are beginning to lose their strength in the market. And so you should begin to see a trend reversal to the opposite side. So what is going to happen is you should expect a break at the top here. When there is a break, then of course you wait for a retest of that line here, which is the top line here. Then you can then look at taking your buy to the upside. That is with the falling wedge. Now, with the falling wedge, there are also those who want to take their trade here. Once they see this here, they will want to take the trade here rather than waiting for it to break and come back and test. Okay, any which way you can make profit. But the most important thing is, if you are going to be trading or taking your trade over here, then you should wait to see some prints. Like we always stress, you must see something that is indicating that this line here, which is more or less like a support, is going to hold before you can take your buy to the upside. Is that okay? If you do not have that assurance, then it's better you wait for a break up, a retest to this line, which is more or less like a resistance. Once it is tested, then the similar print we are talking about must be seen. Then you can take your buy to the upside. Is that okay? So the same thing with the rising wedge. This one is a falling wedge. So we have another one we call the, okay, so the falling wedge, just as I have demonstrated. So you wait for the break and then retest of this neck here, then you can take your buy. All right. Now we also have the rising wedge. So the rising wedge also means that the buyers are losing their power or their strength. And that is why we are having this rising wedge. So again, there are people who may want to take their trade when it touches this top of the wedge, and then they want to take a sell. Okay. There are those who also want this wedge to be broken and retested. Then they can go for their sell. So any which way you can make profit depending on looking critically to see what you're supposed to see. Once you see what you are supposed to see, then of course you can make profit. So if you want the break and retest, then you'll be expecting something like this. You have to wait, get a break, and then a retest. Then if it gives you the prints I'm talking about, then you can go in with your trade. So this is the rising and falling wedge, the way to trade. These are also reversal patterns. Okay, they are all reversal patterns. Now, the last one, the last group of reversals before we go to the chart, this one is called the bullish expanding triangle. And it looks like a wedge, the rising and the falling wedge, but they are not similar. If you look at this one, the ending part of the trend is rather expanding. It is not kind of closing like the way the rising and falling wedges. You see that this one is rather expanding. But the falling wedge is something like this. You get something like a V shape. But this one is more or less like an A shape. If you look at this is more or less like an A shape. Then if I go back for you to see the rising wedge and the fall, you see the falling and the rising wedge is more or less like what? A V shape cap. This one is to the downside, and this one to the, you see, to the upside. So you see how the falling wedge and the rising wedges. But this one is not kind of meeting like this. They are not meeting like this. It's rather expanding. It's rather expanding. So once you see something like this should tell you that it is also a pattern to look out for. But what it means here is that the sellers are actually gaining more momentum. And the fact that they are gaining momentum can also mean that very soon you will see a very aggressive reversal. Okay, you will see an aggressive reversal back to the upside. So when you spot a triangle, which is more or less an expanding triangle, then that is what you should be expecting. You should expect a reversal, and that reversal must be aggressive. Now, when it comes, it can choose to break, come back and retest this before going up. Or if you don't want to trade it that way, there are people who want to take the trade on the touch of the triangle here, the expansion here, and then they'll ride on it from the down there to the top. If you choose to trade it that way or trade it on the break and retest, all is still the same, depending on what you look for. Get the patterns, get some candles in giving you a clear indication that yes, something is going to take place. And if you have watched the part 64 video, you understand what I'm talking about. So if you also don't know much about candles, you can watch the candlesticks pattern videos that I have made. They will also help you to understand some candles and the patterns that when you see, for instance, when you see them on the down part of the wedge here, which is, this one is a triangle, not a wedge. When you see them at the down part of the triangle here, you know what to expect. Or if it goes up and breaks and come back to retest, and you begin to see those candlesticks patterns, or you begin to see similar chart patterns on top of it like this, then you should expect that reversal. You get it. So this is the bullish expanding triangle. We also have the bearish expanding triangle, and the bearish one is also like this. So this is how you trade it. If you have to trade the break and retest, this is how you would trade it. But this is the bearish expanding triangle. So you see it, to the upside is rather of a huge momentum, and it is not. Let me make this clear. This is not like it is giving you higher high and lower lows. No, it is not really that case. But it is giving you some kind of short. It's not really a higher high. It's not really a higher high, but you just see that it's just in kind of in line. Do you get it? Yes. Anyway, we may be going to the chart very soon, so you will see some of these things that I'm talking about. So this is also a pattern to look out for. Once you see this expansion like this, then You can choose to take your trade here, or you wait to get a break and retest, then you go with the sell. So these are all reversal patterns. And I want to end here with the reversal patterns so that in my next video, I will do the continuation patterns and then the neutral patterns. Okay. So today we are ending here on the reversal patterns. So now with the reversal patterns, you know, we have the head and shoulder pattern. We have the double top or double bottom. We also have the triple top and the triple bottom. We also have the falling wedge and then the rising wedge, and then we have the bearish expanding triangle and then the bullish expanding triangle. These are the reversal patterns that we have. So once you can keep them in your head and see them as they come, then you are good to go. Is that okay? Now let's go to the MT4 and see if we can be able to see some of these what do you call it, patterns that I'm talking about. Let me quickly see if I can get the MT4. Have to open the MT4. Let me see. Okay, let me open it quickly so that we can go there and see these patterns that I have talked about, whether we can see a few of them on the chart. And if we see them, let's see whether they will do what we are asking or we are requesting to see them do. So the chart is opening, the MT4 is almost done. So very soon, quickly, we'll go there and then we'll see what we can see for ourselves. So we are almost done. We are almost there. We are almost there. So just some seconds. Okay. Okay. So I think we are almost here. So let's see what we can do. All right. Okay. Okay. All right. So we are almost here. So let's see what we can do. Let me quickly take off this. Now let me share the screen with you quickly. Let me share the screen with you. Let me share the screen with you. So this is the screen. Because I just opened the chart, let me quickly see the customization. Please, just 1 second so that we can be able to see this thing well. Let me just do the customization quickly. Okay, I think we are good. Now, what time frame should we do this? This is on 1 hour time frame. Let's look at daily. Daily, we are looking for any of these patterns we talked about. At the moment, if you put it on linear chart, can you see any of that? Not yet. What of the 4 hour? Can we see any? This one doesn't look like. Okay, yes. Let's see it. Let me go to the candles. Okay, it's not showing too clear. I wanted us to look at this, but it's not too clear. Okay. All right. We have that one here. Look at it. We have that one here. Let me show you quickly, and then we will go. Let me show you this. So this one is here. Okay. Like this. Okay. And then this one is also here like this. Can you see it? What kind of pattern is this? What kind of pattern is this? So you see, this is a triangle. Okay. Yes, this is a triangle. And like I said, if it's to the upside, then you are expecting what? A reversal to the downside. So this is it. This is a triangle. Okay. So this is a triangle. Let's see. I wish I can see more. Okay, this one. Okay, we can see a triple bottom here. Can you see that? A triple bottom. Now, with this triple bottom, this is 1, this is 2, and this is 3. So whoever wants to take them on the downside here would have made some profits. But if you are asking to take it on a break and retest, at this point, the break hasn't actually happened. This is the third point at which you are looking for a break and retest. Now it's the break didn't happen. So even if the break happened, I don't see the break didn't happen. Look at the top here. It was not broken. So the break didn't happen here. So this wouldn't have been a trade to take. But also, you can also similarly see, yes, for that one, that is it. Okay, I think apart from that, there's nothing you can see unless the trader who wants to take it on a break, on a test, on the retest, like I said. So 1, 2, if he's going to be taking the trade on the third retest, after the third touch, this we saw an engulfing candle. Did you see that? This is an engulfing, which this is the last bearish candle. And this candle has been engulfed by a bullish candle, which is to tell you that, yes, of course, the buy is active. It means these two levels here or bottoms here are going to be valid. So they are going to hold. So after seeing that engulfing candle over here, it gives you a clear indication to go for a buy. And if you went for a buy between up here to the top here, you see that you would have made some profit. Is that okay? So I'm just using, let me get this thing cleared. Let's see. I wish I could just pick a different, this is a different currency. Can we get it? The tops. This is Euro JPY. I'm looking at the tops. Okay, this one, it is not, this is head and shoulder pattern. This one is clear. That's what you will see here. This is shoulder, shoulder, this is head. This is head and shoulder pattern. If you're going to be looking at head and shoulder, then this is it. Okay, but this is not what we are looking for. And you can see a retest. You see how the trade came back to retest it, came back to retest it, and then made its way to the buy. So this is a head and shoulder pattern. All right. So, and the triple touch, if you're going to be looking at it, this one doesn't look like it is, but I think it is. So the second touch here, you would have taken your trade here after you got that engulfing candle here again, and you take your buy to the upside. So you would think it is just some small pips you are going to make. This is not small pips. If you took your trade here, this is on the 4-hour time frame. So between this here up to the top here is about 92, 93 pips. And the trade came against you only 27 pips. So you see it. So it's not something small. Again, you would have seen head and shoulder pattern here to the downside. And that is also another clear indication. This is 1, this is 2, and this is 3 over here. Head and shoulder pattern. So this is the neck over here. This neck got broken. If you look at it, it got broken and retested. Look at this bearish candle that got retraced. It came and tested here. Look at it. This is the test. After the break happened, there was a test, and then to the downside. So this is the break and retest of the head and shoulder pattern. Simple as ABCD. So I don't want to make this video long. I have given you enough of the patterns, which are all reversal patterns. I want you to go into the charts or go to your MetaTrader 4. Look for more of these patterns: the double tops, the double bottom, the triple tops, the triple bottom, the falling wedge, and the rising wedge. I think I should look at the wedge. I think there's one trade that was giving this wedge thing, which I think is one of the chef pairs. I think it should be Euro Chef. Let me zoom in a bit to see. Okay, this is Euro Chef on the 4-hour, and I'm even seeing head and shoulder pattern. Look at it. 1, 2, 3. So once you go on the chart, it should be easy to spot. It wouldn't be anything difficult to see. It will be very easy to spot. Very, very easy to spot. You see that. But I think if you go on if I zoom in, yes, there was that kind of falling wedge here. all of this here is a falling kind of wedge. You see that it's not really giving you the lower lows aside, but it's just kind of following each other in bits, in bits, in bits, in bits, in bits, in bits. So that is the kind of wedge we're talking about. But you go through the charts, you see more of these patterns. Draw them, whether they are double tops or bottoms or whatsoever. Draw them, and I'm sure more practice. Once you practice more, it becomes easier to spot them when you see them. It wouldn't take you anything much again. Once you see them, you know these are the patterns I am looking for, and these are the patterns I'm seeing. So these are reversal patterns. All the ones we've talked about in this video are reversal ones. Now we'll be talking about the continuation ones and then the neutral ones in our next video. Is that okay? Until then, take very good care of yourself. Tomorrow is Sunday, and tomorrow I'll come your way with the forecast or signals. You know how last week the signals hit TP, pam, 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 pam. All of them hit TP. So this week, don't worry, we'll be going on our forecast tomorrow to see what next will be available. I'll see you tomorrow with a forecast. Until then, take care of yourself.